Here's the kind of story that makes you say, yes. A trio of would-be burglars picked the wrong Albuquerque house to break into. Police say when the three teens pried open the door, a brave little girl was waiting for them, locked and loaded. Here's News 13's Maria Medina.
I was holding it like this.
Gunman kicked down a door not knowing a 77-year-old man is on the other side waiting with his gun.
The Avondale man was not afraid to defend his home with lethal force. He fired at the intruders at his apartment on Hale Avenue in Avondale. Police believe that he hit one of the men.
They were about to die when masked gunmen burst in, but it was one of the robbers who ended up dead. Police say a man at the party on Lakemont Drive in College Park surprised the home invaders when he pulled his own gun.
She hung up on me. He came through the window. He came through the door. He threw a chair through the door.
And 1 minute later, there were shots.
Yes, dear God, hurry. Okay. Not yet. Hurry. Can you, is there, oh my God. I shot him going out front. I hit him. I shot him. God, help me. Oh, please, dear God, I think I've killed him. Please, Father in heaven. Please, Father in heaven.
The suspect was killed.
Good evening. An ailing elderly man fights for his life when an intruder enters his home.
He survived and shot the suspect.
Tonight, the frantic call from the wife of that Palm Beach Gardens teacher who shot and killed an armed intruder.
A burglary in Cedar County turns into a standoff. Not with police, but with a 57-year-old woman armed with a concealed carry permit.
With her .38 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol pointed at the man in one hand and her phone in the other, Downey again called 911.
I just felt in control. I had the feeling that he was afraid of the gun.
The man did everything Downey told him, and by time authorities arrived, she was the one who felt bad for him.
New tonight at 11, a wild shootout on Detroit's west side has left a suspected car thief dead tonight. Police say the man tried to carjack a father and his family at the Citgo station at Finkel and Schaefer this evening. The driver, who had a concealed weapons permit, pulled out his gun. The two fired several shots at each other. The father was hit in the leg and the face. He is in serious condition tonight. The suspected thief died at the scene.
Sheriff Wright says one of those customers had a concealed weapons permit. He says he then pulled his gun and told the two men to wait for cops to show up. The sheriff says one of the robbers, 19-year-old Dante Williams, then turned his gun toward the diner, and that's when the customer shot and killed Williams.
What a story this is. After a string of neighborhood burglaries over Labor Day weekend, this criminal finally met his match. A mother of one, who is also 6.5 months pregnant, held the robber at gunpoint until police made the arrest.
A botched burglary.
Shots fired as a homeowner surprised a couple of would-be thieves. The pair of suspects were on their way. They were making their way into the home on northeast Oklahoma County today when the homeowner awakened and grabbed his gun.
A man turned the tables on three people who tried to rob him outside a Winter Garden bank this morning. News 13's Janelle Jordan is outside that bank where the man fired at the three would-be robbers. Janelle, what's the latest?
The robber got more than he bargained for when he tried to hold up a pizza delivery driver. As Fox 10 News reporter Renee Dials tells us, the robber found himself looking down the barrel of the intended victim's gun.
Anders Nelson talks with the man who fought off three would-be robbers.
Someone knocked at the door. I reached down here with my left hand, grabbed the pistol, and shot like this, and went that way. By then, the guy was like on me. And so I managed to get one more shot off before we were wrestling for it.
Al says it all happened in less than 5 seconds.
As officers were responding, a citizen at this complex, also armed with a firearm, disarmed our suspect and had him lay his gun down, secured that weapon.
The terrified customers escape into the street, and the second thief leaps over the counter. But the threatened clerk has a gun of his own and fires directly at the second thief. The first thief fires blind as the second thief scrambles back over the counter. As they head for the door, the second thief lifts his shirt, amazed to discover he's been hit in the stomach. He dies moments after leaving the store.
An 80-year-old man shot and killed an intruder during an apparent robbery on Chicago's South Side. And some people tonight are using what happened to protest Chicago's handgun ban.
It's the first known case of a concealed carry permit holder in Wisconsin shooting someone, and it all happened in the middle of a Milwaukee grocery store.
12 News reporter Nick Bohr is live at 76th and Villard, where a customer stopped two men from robbing the store.
and as he's coming through, she shot him. He went down, and then she ran out her front door with the shotgun in her hand.
This registered sex offender is dead. The woman who shot him will not face criminal charges. Her harrowing Halloween story tops our news today.
Continued, it was obvious that he was a madman. My father at that point said, I just got to do something. I've got to do something. He's going to kill everybody in here. And he rushed the man. No way. The guy turned, shot him in the chest. He went down, was obviously mortally wounded. For whatever reason, that made the man change directions and go off to my left. Shortly thereafter, someone at the back of the restaurant broke out a window. When I saw what looked like an opportunity to escape, I turned around and I grabbed my mother by the shirt and I said, come on, we've got to run, we've got to get out of here. And then my feet grew wings and I was out the back window. As soon as I got out, I realized that my mother had not followed me out. And as I learned from the police officers, she had crawled over to where my father was and cradled him until the guy got back around, put the gun to her head. She looked up at him, put her head down, and he pulled the trigger. My parents had just had their 47th wedding anniversary. She wasn't going anywhere. As I mentioned, I'm not really mad at the guy that did this. And I'm certainly not mad at the guns that did this. They didn't walk in there by themselves and pull their own triggers. The guy that did it was a lunatic. That's like being mad at a rabid dog. I'm mad at my legislators for legislating me out of the right to protect myself and my family. I would much rather be sitting in jail with a felony offense on my head and have my parents alive. As far as these so-called assault weapons, you say that they don't have any disuse. You tell that to the guy that I saw on a videotape of the LA riots, standing up on his rooftop, protecting his property and his life from an entire mob with these so-called assault weapons. Tell me that he didn't have a legitimate self-defense use. Just one final statement. I've been sitting here getting more and more fed up with all of this talk about these pieces of machinery having no legitimate sporting purpose, no legitimate hunting purpose. People, that is not the point of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is not about duck hunting. And I know I'm not going to make very many friends saying this, but it's about our rights, all of our rights to protect ourselves from all of you guys up there.
You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny. Not to hunt. It's to protect yourself from the police.
Michael Moore's our guest. You own a gun.
I have enough security where I don't, need to worry about that. So
we should ban guns in the U.S.
I have only 5 words for you. From my cold, dead hands.